Hi guys, and I hope you all enjoyed your holidays, however you spent it. I hope you had a wonderful, joyful, and peaceful time. And now it's all back to business for the time being. And let's get started with Stranger Things, which we dropped obviously during the holidays. This is volume 2 of Stranger Things season 5, and these were like a penultimate 3 episodes. I guess we get in the finale dropping on New Year's Day, and yeah. So essentially, I'm not just to kind of disclaimer. I'm not really going to specifically do a spoiler-free review here, but I'm just not going to avoid spoilers neither, if that makes sense, because I kind of feel like everyone who's kind of on the Stranger Things train right now is kind of on there, and it's sort of but yeah, but like I said, this was a penultimate 3 episodes that we got, and essentially, I feel kind of mixed on it. I feel kind of, and what I mean by that is, um, when I sat down and watched these 3 episodes, and I watched them kind of in the space of. I think I watched them all 3 of them on Boxing Day, over the course of Boxing Day. And if you kind of across these 3 episodes, they're about like it's run over about 3 hours, 3.5 hours of content here. And all throughout that time, I was entertained, right? I was entertained by everything that I had seen. I can't on the content that we've got. I cannot knock any of it. I kind of like I really like some of the stuff you're doing here. Some of the action sequences are really good. Obviously, visually it looks gorgeous as it always has done. Effects wise, all of the emotional beats kind of hitting. Um, so everything that I was watching, I was entertained by. But having said that, I felt it was a little bit underwhelming. I felt like there wasn't really a whole lot of stuff going on here to warrant the 3.5 hours, whatever it is. Because yeah, there wasn't too much like moving of a needle. Like I said, while I was watching, I was really engrossed in. So to that end, it did its job. But I think that what it really comes down to more is just the execution of some of the stuff, some of the little pauses that they take, the little sort of emotional beats and the emotional monologues that they have are are fine because I understand that they need to be in there and they're created a bit of kind of character work. But it's sort of being delivered at a time where you kind of need urgency, you need immediacy. The most prime example of this is when Max sees the opening to escape Vecna, and instead they just stop and talks to Holly for about 5 to 10 minutes and gives her this sort of like pep talk about. And like I said, yes, I understand that's what the purpose of that talk is doing, especially for Holly's character and all, and their relationship, and it's sort of there, but it's sort of like it's stuck in this world for like about 2 years now. Just run. Do you know what I mean? And it's sort of like it's a bit and yeah, there's just these kind of moments where and another moment is when we have the revelation of Will's sexuality, and him kind of coming out to his friends, which see, like, again, is another real kind of like character piece that needs to be in there. Personally, I would have preferred it if I had pulled the trigger on that like earlier, because I just felt like if you then just had slightly more established him as a male gay character, then I think there would have just been a bit more substance there and a bit more uh what's the word? A bit more kind of representation there, I guess, rather than it just sort of being this character that's just revealed to be gay just one episode before the end of the show's run. But also, on the note, I think that if April should get at another point, then it would have solved part of the issue that I was talking about, where it's like you've thrown this in there and you've had this like moment, and that's fine, but it's sort of like it's come right at a time where they're talking about their plan to take Vecna down and what their plan is going to be, and there's going to be this world colliding and stuff like that, and it's just very kind of like urgent, or the stakes require there to be this urgency, and it's like you're just taking this time out to have this real kind of sentimental moment, which is just kind of taken away from the urgency. So it's sort of like so yeah, I think it was just like little moments like that. It kind of felt like it didn't really, these 3 episodes went by and it didn't really feel like we had just one more episode to go. I mean, admittedly, with this finale, the finale is probably going to be about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, something like that, like we got at the end of season 4, admittedly. But didn't, like I said, it didn't feel like it moved the needle. So it felt like it had quite a lot of loose ends to tie up in that finale. Like I said, I'm not fretting about it because, like I said, I'm confident that we are probably going to get about a 2.5 hour finale or something like that on New Year's Day. But yeah, like I said, but having said that, I can't give it a bad review as well, because like I said, I was entertained with everything I had seen. It wasn't that I felt that there was any bad. There isn't anything bad in here. Do you know what I mean? I think everything it ticks all of the boxes, but it doesn't quite cook in the way that it should. And I think that the best way I can this best thing I can do to try and kind of articulate as why I think that might be is, like I said, I think there are just moments where that really require urgency and high stakes, and then there's just these executions of these things that kind of like take the air out of that a little bit. But yeah, overall, guys, like I said, I did enjoy these 3 episodes. I know it doesn't feel like I did, but I did enjoy these 3 episodes. I've enjoyed this season as a whole. I'm still really pumped up for the finale. But yeah, like I said, I just wish that maybe some of these like emotional little monologues and stuff that they had put in there were just kind of executed better, and that there was, they just generated a little bit more of a pace to kind of move the needle a little bit, maybe, so that they didn't leave themselves having to do quite as much in the finale. But yeah, overall, guys, yeah, that's my review. A kind of like a mixed bag, I guess, but I'm still gonna give it a thumbs up. But yeah, I will see what the finale has to bring, and I'll obviously be back here to give you my thoughts on that. So yeah, thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, don't forget to ring a bell for notifications. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please feel free to let me know down in the comment section about what your own thoughts were on these 3 penultimate episodes of Stranger Things. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side in the new year. You guys have a great one.